the grandson of a tobacco farmer. His name was Thomas Alexander Hunt, and he was born in 1871 in Boone County, Missouri. He had a very fruitful life, living in good health for 94 years, and with his wife, Nancy Ann Grant, they had an amazing 15 children over 60 years of marriage. Our story begins in 1821 with John Hunt. You can add as many great-great-greats as are required, but he was our grandfather. And he traveled via the Ohio, Mississippi, and Missouri rivers with his wife, Judith Bolden Hunt, to southwest Boone County and settled near what today is Huntsdale, Missouri. In 1821, James Monroe was President of the United States. Missouri, which had been a separate territory acquired as part of the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, became the 24th state admitted to the Union. The U.S. population that year was less than 10 million. Missouri had a population of 66,000, with 10,000 of those residing in St. Louis. Fun fact, Napoleon died that year. Rocheport has long been the location of traders, but Huntsdale was not incorporated until 1892 when the Missouri, Kansas, and Texas, the Katy Railroad built a line from New Franklin to Mawkins on the Mississippi River. Huntsdale was named after William Birch Hunt, who owned most of the land around the town. He was a first cousin of Thomas Dixon Hunt. John had a son named Frederick, who had a son named Thomas Dixon, who was the father of Thomas Alexander. 24-year-old Alex married 16-year-old Nancy Grant in 1895. The 15 children in birth order were George Jeffries, who Alex and Nancy raised, but never formally adopted. Alma Darling was born to 19-year-old Nancy in 1898, Mary Louise in 1899, Helen Leola in 1901, Wilmeth Miller in 1903, Joseph Victor in 1905. Beulah Francis was born in 1907 and died that same year. Brooksy Pearl arrived in 1907, Evelyn Grace in 1911, Annie Laura in 1913, William Angel in 1915, Dorothy Josephine in 1917, Roger, born in 1919, also died at age 1. Estill Grant, my father, was born in 1920. And finally, Georgia Marie in 1924. What a fantastic group of names that many of you carry on today. 15 children, 54 grandchildren. I've not attempted to count great and great and great great descendants. A birth span of 32 years from 1892 through 1924. As such, later siblings such as my father had nieces and nephews as their peer group. That generation is now gone. My mother was the last of that group, and now we have lost 2/3 of their children. They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Retrospectively, it would have been the best time to take on this project 20 or even 30 years ago, before we lost the collective memories of the generations that preceded us. But today is a good day to start also. Tucked away in our basements and our attics and our closets are artifacts and treasures that can be added to our collective knowledge through this video project. Our goal is to capture the history of each of the descendant families, as well as the overarching story of Alex and Nancy Grant Hunt, with separate chapters of memories available for all to remember and understand our collective past. A sub-project will be to update the wonderful work that our cousin Ken Hunt, son of Romie Hunt, who compiled the descendants of Thomas Dixon and Mary Ann Williamson Hunt. My request is to find cousins who will take on the task of organizing the story around each of the children who survived into adulthood. This will consist of photos, memories, and stories that they can tell for the camera and can be shared by all. My hunch is that we will have fascinating stories that will be familiar as well as unknown to most of us. Please join me in this project and let's make history.